Yo, BlakGooseTV family, what's good with it? I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm coming at y'all with some more T-Bud news, and I'm very happy that I'm coming with more T-Bud news. The reason why I'm very happy I'm coming with more T-Bud news, because it kind of it correlates with each other, right? It coincides with each other. You know what I'm saying? It goes neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about yesterday Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying, after his win against Ugas, or even with the lead up to Ugas, we heard him talking a little bit more when it came to who he wanted to fight next and how he wanted to get the Terence Crawford fight and how he seems like it's closer, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, he didn't, he didn't do nothing that's out of the norm for his character, which means talk shit or say something that ain't realistic. He always kept a very realistic approach to what he was saying and how he responded to the questions in regards to Terence Crawford happening, right? But with that being said, we were getting a lot more information and a lot more things coming out of Errol Spence's mouth that made us be like, yo, we're getting close as hell to this T-Bud Spence fight, right? Similar to what we heard from, Terence Crawford after the Sean Porter win. I will give Terence Crawford this, though. He's always been very vocal about, hey, we can get it whenever when it comes to Errol Spence. Errol Spence has been a little bit different. I'm not saying that's ducking on either side. I'm just saying that's just their personalities, promotional wise, all that good stuff. I'm not going to get into that because none of that matters. Both the fighters can say they want to fight. It's not going to happen if the promotional companies don't agree to it. So I understand that. But as of late, like I said, we've heard a lot from Errol Spence, obviously because he's been being asked, not because he's just been offering information. But then we also been hearing a lot from Jermell Charlo, because Jermell Charlo has his fight coming up, and people are saying, obviously we know T-Bud Crawford is thinking about moving up to 154, and he said he would love the Castano Charlo 2 winner. Charlo didn't like that, etc. And he talked a lot of shit. I'm a knockout artist, baby. I'm not gonna do it 100 times. By the way, guys, my goal is at some point when, we're growing and we get to a certain point and I got, editing and all that good stuff, I am going to have, I'm a knockout artist, baby. I just want something I can just use at any point during any clip because I fucking love that line from Jermell. But with that being said, I'm so happy to hear we finally heard Terence Crawford respond to Jermell Charlo. And that's what this motherfucking video was about, a reaction video up in this goddamn thing. I'm just ecstatic. I'm like, finally, Crawford has something to say to Jermell, because I was like, ain't no way you're going to let Jermell talk all this crazy shit and you not say something, even though we know Terence, but his demeanor and his personality from what he's shown us, right? I don't know him personally, but from what he's shown us, he doesn't usually engage in the back and forth. And usually if someone got a lot of shit to say, it's not really his prerogative to be like, oh, well, let me shut that shit down. But in this particular instance, I'm happy he did end up saying something, because I'm like, hey, look, if we're talking about you potentially fighting Errol next and then winning the winner of Jermall versus Castano, let's start the motherfucking promotions now. Let's do it. Let's start all of it now. Let's all get excited for it. But anyways, let's see what he had to say. You guys can maybe have an idea because you see the title over here on the reaction video. Oh, excuse me, on the video I'm going to react to, and you can see the title below. But I haven't seen this yet, so let's go ahead and enjoy this for the first time together. If you watched this before, shit, act surprised, goddammit. Let's get it. T-Bud Crawford responds, "Bring that shit," on Twitter. Excuse me, I'm hyped. He went on to say, "I love this energy. Keep it up. I'ma smash you." So all this is in reference and going straight at Jermell. I'ma smash you, then I'm coming. Oh, excuse me, this is coming straight at Errol, right? And then he addresses Charlo, Jermell. I'ma smash you, then I'm coming for your cheerleader twin Charlo. That's if he even wins next. So for the first time, obviously, like I said, Terence Crawford isn't the man to engage in stupidities of the back and forth. Neither is Errol Spence. Jermell, now on the other hand, he doesn't really engage in it to he's only going to engage if his name is in the media and he has something coming up. Other than that, I've never seen Jermell really in the media outside of when he has a fight coming up. So very good promotional sense when it comes to Jermell. But I love this tweet from T-Bud, man. Just straight disrespect. I love this energy, showing he ain't afraid. Keep it up. I'm going to smash you, then I'm coming for your cheerleader. Called Jermell his cheerleader. Next. Let's go ahead and turn this up and see what he's talking about right here.
And I've been saying it this whole week, doing pressures and everything. I said, it's May strap season. I got one more belt to get. And, after I get through with Ugas, I'm coming in Terence Crawford. So I already know what time it is.
Now, Crawford could get that work. I don't give a fuck about him. I don't know that nigga, and the nigga don't know me. We can make anything happen. But when you got an emotional tag to somebody, that's like me fighting my twin brother. Now, like Spence said, if that motherfucking money right, and they put that brick bread out there, and we gonna get in there with anybody. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna turn.
Jermell don't want to fight Spence.
None of these people. Crawford didn't did shit in 154. How y'all want him to fight me? I'm telling you, I'm trying to become undisputed right now. How are we talking about somebody that ain't even fought in the division? How do he just jump from there to there? Like what connection do he got to this
Because
world?
Crawford has done great.
Okay. Step in and say, we want to see this fight next. Get together, promoters, right?
Well, like I said before, man, that fight is past me personally. I felt like I did everything that I possibly can do, to try to make that fight happen. And for some odd reason, everybody kept saying, "Oh, I'm chasing him. I'm this and I'm that." Yeah, I was chasing him, and he didn't want to fight. He was saying he wanted to fight, but he really didn't want to fight, And my thing was just, if you wanted to fight, you could have made the fight happen.
So this is just going to be my quick just analyst of just demeanors, people talking, changes, blah, blah, blah. Jermell Charlo very hyped up, saying what he said. Seems like Jermell Charlo has it's just me, this is speculation. He's a little bit jealous of Terence Crawford for him to say, what has he done at 154 for him to demand the things he's demanded? Well, he's done great things at 135, 140, and 147, right? One belt in all the divisions, right? Undisputed in all the divisions, right? Other than 147, obviously. So that's a great thing. So he can easily come up to 154 and demand something. This goes back to also what I said about Errol. Remember, Errol is very realistic in his approach. This is the first time we ever heard, even in that press conference that we just did a reaction to, guys. He said, hey, I've been saying it this whole entire time leading up to the fight. I want the Terence Crawford fight that's up next, even though there has been specific times where they asked him about the Crawford fight and undisputed, and he said himself out of his own mouth, hey, I've seen people be great and go on to be great, and they didn't have to be undisputed. So a little bit of contradictory statements from Errol Spence if you want to be just unbiased and really looking at it. From when it comes to Terence Crawford, he's been very consistent. He said even when he was with Top Rank, hey, we can make the fight happen. So that tells me, or my guess or my speculation is that Bob Arum and Terence Crawford tried to make that fight happen. And I think at the end of the day, Errol Spence and Al Heyman and PBC always felt like their fighter deserved more, was more popular, and there was no way they were going to say, hey, we'll be willing to split the pay-per-view revenue and we're willing to make it a 50-50 fight. I think the thing that happened was Errol Spence, PBC, and Al Heyman always wanted the bigger favor when it comes to the split. They probably always wanted 60-40, 75, whatever, 30, whatever the case may be, 70-30, whatever. 75-30, excuse me, 79-10, yeah, 70-30, whatever the case may be. They always wanted the bigger split of the pie, as well as the broadcasting rights, which made things very fickle, right? So I understand Terence Crawford, right? But you can also argue, well, Terence Crawford, if you really want to fight, you would have took that. But when it comes to that point, if the negotiation and the money doesn't make sense, the fighter now steps aside, because if the fighter's willing to fight no matter what, hey, I'm willing to fight this motherfucker for free. Look what Devin Haney did with George Kambosos. Hey, I'm willing to fight for free. If you have a long-standing relationship with a certain promoter, they're going to be like, hey, man, we're not going to do that. We're not just willing to risk and lose that much money. Even though Errol Spence versus you is a big fight, us going in and giving him such a big purse, such a big split, broadcasting rights, etc., we're going to end up on the negative if we do this. So I see both sides. I see both fighters' side. I tend to lean a little bit more toward Terence Crawford just by how, understanding the business and how things play. You guys can disagree with me if you want. And if you guys do, drop it in the comments below. Talk your shit. Notification gang, comment, like, and subscribe. What y'all think about this goddamn reaction? Appreciate y'all as always. I got another video dropping for y'all, so make sure y'all